One-Eyed Willie. My dad told me all about him. See, One-Eyed Willie stole treasure once, and then he got into this cave, and he's been there ever since, trapped. You guys, just what if this map could lead to One-Eyed Willie's rich stuff? I'm setting booty traps.
You mean booby traps?
That's what I said, booby traps. I want to go home.
Don't say that. Goonies never say die.
Oh my God.
From Steven Spielberg. The Goonies.
Do the truffle shuffle.
Come on.
Do it.
Look, I'll circle back to Spielberg, but we just did A Christmas Carol for a Cure with a bunch of Donner vets, including Jeanette Goldstein from Titanic, and she was Vasquez in Aliens, but Lethal Weapon 2. And we were talking about how Donner called everyone kid.
Yeah.
And you and I were talking about how Donner had the best offices at Warner Brothers. And when I started there, it was the old Sinatra set of offices.
Right.
That
Which also meant Amblin.
Yeah, Spielberg had it too.
Yeah.
And I was telling the story, and you should retell it, about when your car caught fire.
Oh.
And it's laughable now. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh in the face of your tragedy, but your car caught, and Donner settled it for you?
Yeah, you know, Dick had the biggest heart. I mean, his heart was as big as his voice, which you could hear clear across the lot in Warner Brothers. And you know, and the more you tried to thank him when he did something generous, the more he would just go, oh no, and he would change the subject. Just a really good heart. And I was working on Tales from the Crypt, which he was executive producer on, and he was right in the middle of Lethal Weapon 2 when we were prepping his episode of Tales. And so I went out to the West Valley one day to Tower Records in Northridge to pick up some Calliope music because it was a carnival themed episode. And I was on the San Diego freeway and I noticed steam coming out from under my hood. So I pulled off the freeway and it wasn't steam, it was smoke. My engine was on fire. And, I didn't have any water with me. I had a thought, but I figured I'd get arrested for indecent exposure. So I kind of put that out of my mind. And then the one of the tubes melted through, and it may have been the brake fluid, and just sprayed over the engine and put the fire out. I mean, it was a miracle, but there was about $2,000 worth of damage, and I got a tow to the garage, and then got a taxi to Warner Brothers, and walked into Dick's trailer on the lot. He was inside shooting on one of the stages, and Jenny Lou, his co-producer at the time, said, so what was the damage? And I told her, and she said, oh, that's too bad. She left and went into the stage, talked to Dick, came back about 10 minutes later and said, Dick's going to take care of it. And like I said, I tried to thank him, and he kept changing the subject. Well, we found out that it was a sensor that never lit up as kind of a warning for something. And Dick didn't feel that was right. So he called Mitsubishi, their corporate headquarters, and explained the situation and said, you need to take care of this kid's bill. And they refused. I don't know who he talked to. So the next day, he called back again. And I think he may have talked to the people in marketing or whatever. And finally, this time he said who he was, what he did, listed the films he had done. And he said, if you don't take care of this right away, in my next film, I'm going to have a nun die in a Mitsubishi car fire, or I'm going to have a Mitsubishi run over a group of orphans. And they said, we can work with you on this.
Yeah.
And they took care of it.
I love that story, and that's a slightly different version of the version I tell or retell of yours, which I say it was a carload of nuns. Like, of course, I magnify like it's an entire.
Oh, it could have been.
It's an entire Hobbit village full of nuns that are going to get executed in your vehicle, and it's just going to implode like one of those old Pintos suddenly. And But it's one of those stories that you just love because it tells you really who the guy was. I actually just did a toy drive with Mark Ralston too, who also worked with him on Lethal Weapon 2.
That's right.
I don't think I've ever met anyone who does not have a real joyous reaction when you mention the word Richard Donner. Like everyone immediately goes, "Oh," like they love that guy. They loved him. And you did too. And you love the fact that he just gave you opportunities to like cut scripts, story edit, do things that were going to be experience based.
Yeah, Dick would throw you in the deep end if he believed in you. And I don't think I realized it at the time, but we were in a pre-production meeting for Lethal Weapon 3, and I was just there to take notes. I was Jenny Lou's assistant at the time, and
Right.
Jenny was co-producing, and all the department heads were there, and we were going through the script, and we got to the hockey sequence at the forum, and Dick looked at me and said, "You take care of this kid." And so with just that, I had to try to get the permission from the NHL and arrange for everything with the location manager, and it was an education. I mean, it was 4 years of film school right there, and it was just because Dick said, "You take care of a kid," and I think I had proved myself on the Tales episode he directed, and that's why he thought, "Okay, I'll give you something else," and that kind of led to me being elevated to associate producer on the first Free Willy film, uh, because I had proven myself,
Well,
and
it's
and I
credit
owe
well
that to
deserved.
Dick. Well, I appreciate that, but
Oh, come
um,
on.
you know,
You got that credit because you earned it. The production appreciates you. That's why you get the credit.
Is this okay? Hi, my name is David Pasquesi. You may recognize me from television program or motion picture, or not. NMOSD is a central nervous system disorder, and it's pretty brutal. You can help. Go to GuthyJacksonFoundation.org and donate today to help them find a cure. GuthyJacksonFoundation.org.